If Kamala Harris came out and reiterated her commitment to combating price gouging, that's a radical leftist policy, right? Donald Trump keeps calling it Commie Harris. Kamala Harris is a comrade. She's insane. She's a Marxist. It's her most popular policy. It has only pulled higher every time she's mentioned it. At the starting point, it was at like 76%. Now it's at 83%. In that same time frame, from 76 to 83% popularity, Donald Trump kept calling her a fucking Marxist, said this is going to be like Venezuela. Why? Because Americans don't give a fuck. They're like, I'm hurting. My pockets are hurting. Inflation is eating away at the marginal gains that I've made in my wage growth. I want the shit to be fixed. When Kamala Harris actually addresses that, which is an incredibly, profoundly radical and profoundly leftist policy, Americans don't give a shit. They like it. The greatest example of this is motherfucking Tim Walz. Tim Walz is Kamala Harris's vice president. Tim Walz also happens to be the governor of Minnesota. Tim Walz did a lot of these radical, bold policies in Minnesota, and they were objectively popular. He was able to do this with a one seat majority in the state Senate in Minnesota. They literally showed the method. They showed exactly what can be done. Even if you have a marginal majority, okay, with a one seat majority, you can bring about paid family leave. You can bring about programs where, you feed children for free. These are all things that are objectively popular. That's what's so disastrous about this with respect to Kamala Harris's campaigning strategy, hyper focusing on like these supposed key Republicans in the suburbs that are going to go for her and not for Donald Trump because they hate the aesthetics of Donald Trump. And there is so many voters out there that could be motivated to go out and vote if you address their problems. There's also so many voters that you could probably flip if you address those problems from the Republican Party's base of support as well. Because at the end of the day, there are plenty of people who still want to make sure, no matter how angry, no matter how bloodthirsty they might be, no matter how much they think like immigrants are eating cats and dogs or whatever the fuck, they still go to the fucking grocery store and see the prices. And if Kamala Harris made an active effort to say, no, we're going to fix that problem for you, they might even be more interested in possibly voting for her. The opportunities are endless. The problem is the Democratic Party actively campaigns to the center, actively campaigns to the right, and then the media tells you, the voters, and everyone else that pays attention to this, because you guys are high propensity voters. You are incredibly informed. Even if you're not going to go out and vote, you're still incredibly informed. Having said that, however, there are still a lot of people that come in here that are also hyper informed, that only get their information from MSNBC, CNN, New York Times without applying any sort of critical thinking to it. So they just come in here and basically regurgitate what they heard over there. And what they heard over there is almost always the same. The Democratic Party is doing this because there's a method to this. There's a reason for this. They're doing the smart move by moving to the center. They're doing the smart move by moving to the right. They're going to flip all of these fucking voters in the suburbs and they're going to win. Except it doesn't show in the polls at all. That has not showed up in the polls. If that was the case, the Democratic Party has massive coffers. Due to the original swap out and the momentum that came to Kamala Harris, they raised $1 billion fucking dollars in a very short period of time. And they've been pummeling these key swing states and key districts with ads, reaffirming that Kamala Harris's like shitty ass campaign strategy. Okay, repeating over and over again. And yet the polls have not moved. What does that show you? What does that show you? That shows you that the messaging is not working. Kamala Harris, unlike Donald Trump, is a dynamic candidate. She is, when she originally came onto the scene as the presidential candidate, she was a lesser known entity. There was a lot of advantages to being a lesser known entity that close to the actual fucking election. She could have used that blank slate that the American population gave her as a way to say, this is the bold, radical change agenda that we're going to put. 65% of American voters, according to that New York Times poll that we looked at a month ago, wanted change. 65% of all voters wanted change from the Biden administration. Remember that, 65%. Only 25% thought Kamala Harris represented that change. That is a devastating poll. These are alarm bells after alarm bells ringing in a competent campaign that looks at that and goes, oh my God, we got to change our messaging. We got to change our communications. We shouldn't be hugging and kissing Joe Biden this aggressively. But the media plays the same song and dance. They play the role of basically making you dull and basically fucking deluding you into thinking, no, there is a reason for this. There is a good reason for this. She's going to flip these Republican voters, and it's going to be awesome. Meanwhile, every time she portrays herself as like a Republican, but, you know, gay, there are a shit ton of voters that she's leaving behind in the normal progressive wing of the party. Young voters, Latino voters, black and brown voters that would be more motivated to go out and vote. And more importantly than just go out and vote, door knock. The activist base of the party is profoundly important because grassroots mobilization is profoundly important for turnout for the Democratic Party. But when you don't actually get those guys, they're not going to go out and fucking vote. I'm sure there are door knockers for the Harris campaign in this community, you know, wonderful individuals who are kind-hearted. I know for a fact that there are people who get their doors knocked on, and the thing that they reiterate to the door knockers is, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris unless she changes course on Gaza. And when they say that to the door knockers, like, what are they supposed to do? Hasan, you're saying it's a bad idea that they're going after 9 people instead of 90 million? Yes. Why do you think they're targeting the center and right so much? Because they're right-wing, dog. That's it. That's the real reason. If you want to know what the real reason is because they care about moneyed interest more than they care about their constituents, and that they would rather have a close election, one that they might even inevitably lose, where they push for like very conservative policies and gear up the base for the inevitable conservative policies, because it's like somewhat of a uniparty on a lot of issues when it comes to immigration now. When it comes to foreign policy, it's always been uniparty. When it comes to deregulation and taxation or cutting taxes, it's pretty consistent. So they would rather prime the American base of like whoever fucking still votes out there to be more susceptible to this sort of right-wing ratcheting than actually put forward a clear and coherent agenda that is a counterbalance to creeping fascism, accelerating fascism coming from the Republican right. You don't have to look any further than what happened to the Labour Party in the UK to see exactly what's going on in America.